Hello traders and welcome in a new daily market analysis video. Today is the 13th of June 2022 and this video is brought to you by the market research team at PO Prime. Today is basically a beginning of a new trading week. We had some amazing movements during the past week, especially on Friday with the so higher than expected inflation numbers from the US economy. We had some movements on gold as well as on the dollar index. Let's have a quick look on the markets today. What do we expect and what do we have on our economic agenda? This will be discussed in today's video. Please stay tuned. Basically, the week started with softer and lighter volatility than usual. We had the Queen's birthday from the Australian session. It's a holiday in Australia, so that's why basically the Australian session was off for today, and we had this lighter than usual volatility. Having a look on the economic agenda, basically we can quickly see how bad the numbers from the British economy came out. Basically, we had the GDP for the quarter, talking about the second quarter of this year, 2022. Basically, we had those numbers 3.4% for the year-over-year basis, which is much lower than the previous reading as well as lower than the expectations. The same goes for the quarter-over-quarter numbers and the month-over-month as well. Adding to this, we had very negative manufacturing production for the month of April, as well as the monthly GDP change. Also, it is lower than the expectations as well as lower than the previous readings. So this basically adds some selling pressures on the pound versus the US dollar, especially that the US dollar is having this upside movement. We are having this extended gains on the dollar index supported by a higher than expected inflation numbers. This means basically that the Federal is set to hike the interest rates during this year with a much faster pace than expected. So let's have a quick look on the technical analysis and the charts. Starting with the dollar index, we can see here how basically the dollar index moved to the upside, supported by the inflation numbers. Basically, the Federal Reserve is set to meet this week on basically Wednesday, the 15th of June. We are expecting a 50 basis points rate hike. However, the much higher than expected inflation numbers added some expectations from the markets that we might see a 75 basis points rate hike, not during this meeting, however, during the upcoming meeting in July. This basically supported the dollar index. We're currently trading around the 104.61, just around the highs formed during May of this year. Basically, we are still bearish, we are still bullish on the dollar index on the medium and the long term. However, on the short term, during today, this is basically a key resistance level, and we can see on the 30 minutes time frame that we are starting to lose momentum here. So on the short time frame during today, basically we do expect a decline to happen from the levels of 105 points. So yes, we might see an extended move to 105. However, from those areas we will be waiting for some bearish price action to happen and to take place, so we can basically get some really quick short positions on the short time frame. Having a look on the euro and the pound versus the US dollar, we had this brilliant move to the downside, which we basically mentioned during the previous week. We mentioned that the key level to watch is 1.0627, and we mentioned that a break and a close below should basically be our short entry towards the 1.0354. However, from those current levels that we're having, 1.0475 roughly, we might have an extended, or we might have a correction to the upside. However, a simple correction that should be shorted back. We still have our targets around 1.0354. As for the pound versus the US dollar, we basically reached the main support and the main demand area on the daily time frame. So basically, if you didn't short the pound, it's no longer a valid setup. However, we might be looking for some bullish price action here on shorter time frames to have a quick correction to the upside. Having a look on gold, basically on the 4-hour time frame, we can see how well it's trading inside a consolidation area we're having a series of equal highs as well as equal lows. The highs are just around the areas of 1875 and the lows around 1830. We do expect a continuation of this downward move, basically to target the levels of 1840 and then 1830 during today's trading day. And this is all for today's market analysis video. Thank you so much for watching, and please stay tuned for another videos. Goodbye.